Speaking of justice, it's been 15 years now that 14 secondary school students and a journalist who was also a volunteer with the Red Cross were gunned down by security officers in broad daylight in the Gambia. Now, for several months, the students had been asking for justice for two of their colleagues, a male student who was tortured to death by the Gambian firefighters, and a female student, 13-year-old girl, 13-year-old, who was raped by uniformed security officers. I mean, it's not too much for these students to ask for justice for their colleagues. Now, after several months of no justice for their mates, the students decided to protest. And that was when 14 of them, not one student, not even 5, I'm talking about 14 young boys and girls, were gunned down in broad daylight with AK-47 and machine guns, all because they dared to ask for justice for their friends. Really? Now, an eyewitness actually said that he saw a girl that day running, and as she was running away from these security officers, they shot her at the back of her head, and he saw the bullet come out right above her eye just before she collapsed. Just imagine that. Imagine being there. 15 families shattered for life, and parents have not remained the same till today. Mr. President, who was traveling at the time, reportedly gave the order for the soldiers to stop, quote and unquote, the bastards from protesting, and that was why they shot them. Now, to make things worse, till today, Yahya Jammeh has never addressed this issue. He has never said he's sorry. Nobody was arrested or prosecuted till today. Him and his vice president, Isato Saidi, who's actually a woman, pretended as if nothing happened, leaving the parents to bury their children. How sad. Some of those who survived, by the way, became paralyzed because of the gunshots, and they are yet to be compensated, not even for hospital bills or even given money for them to buy wheelchairs. Just imagine that. I'm glad though that my Gambian people all over the world did not forget what happened on April 10 and 11th. Here are pictures of some Gambians protesting in front of the White House, demanding for justice for these families and the students, as well as saying once again that it's time for Jammeh to step down. Yes. And you know what? I couldn't believe when I heard that Jammeh has also refused to reduce fuel price in his country, despite the fact that oil price has dropped all over the world. Now, most of them are complaining about high taxes and lack of electricity, as well as how hard it is to compete with Mr. President's various businesses. You know, Jammeh has all kinds of businesses. I mean, how do you compete with Mr. President when he has all the resources? So there will also be an election in the Gambia next year, and I am waiting to see what would happen, because I know that for someone like Jammeh, he will not step down voluntarily, especially if you should think about all the not so good things that he has done, like the students that were killed. I don't think he will step down voluntarily. But you know, you guys know I don't know anything. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real.